Hello and welcome to How to Automotive. Today I'm excited to talk to you about my experience at SEMA. So if you guys have never been, it's a wild and crazy show, and I highly recommend that you find a way to get your butt there. It's so much value there, and also an entertainment factor. It's just crazy, over the top. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the value factor of SEMA. It seems like it's all about car show and drifting and monster truck and all that stuff, but really it's so much more than that. It's about doing business and connecting with people and just making those contacts and learning about the automotive industry as a whole. And if you can keep that in mind when you're at SEMA, benefit from it hugely. For me personally, it was great. So I got to meet a lot of the vendors that I work with, promoting tools and stuff for you guys to help you guys out. I only work with the best companies, and to meet the teams in person, shake their hands and thank them for what they do for us, and was huge. And so when you're at SEMA, there's a lot to figure out. There's transportation, there's hotels, how to navigate the show itself. So one of the cool ways you can navigate the show is you can download the SEMA app. And so if you want to look up, like say if you wanted to look up the Lincoln Welders booth, you can look up on the app, find out what booth number it is, because there's literally thousands, probably close to 3,000 booths there at the show. And you can get turned around in there easily. You can think you're in the right place and you're in the completely wrong building. It's crazy how much stuff is at the show. So having the app is key. It'll help you out a ton. The other navigational thing I learned is kind of like if you walk the halls, you walk them like in a zigzag pattern, and you'll pretty much see everything in that exhibit hall. So earlier I mentioned it's about business at SEMA, and truly that's what it really is about. It's about connecting with the partners out there and all the people in the automotive industry. So I recommend that you check out all the booths. For instance, I'm doing these tool booths here. There's parts vendors that I checked out. You know, these are the companies that I'm using on a day-to-day basis. These are the companies I'm recommending to you guys to use. And so it's important for you to meet and greet, shake their hands, and make those relationships stronger. That way you can provide more value to your customers. And that's what it's really about. It's about connecting with the people, about the stories, about doing business. So if you work it right, a trip like this to SEMA will pay for itself in the up and coming years, as far as the connections you make and the possible collaborations that you're going to do, the companies that you're going to work with in the future. You're also going to learn a lot about the automotive industry, what's new in the industry, what's phasing out of the industry. So that's my recommendation to you guys that are going to SEMA, is to use it as a tool and to advance your automotive career. Then once you've done that, spend the rest of the show taking in all the crazy activities and the fun and the car show scene of it and all that type of activities. Here's some highlights from the show. So if you like drifting and you've always wanted to experience, they had plenty of opportunities to do that. In the rear of the building at SEMA, they had the Continental Tires Extreme Experience. And you get to do a little ride along in a BMW M3 and with a professional driver, drifting it and really pushing the car to its edge and actually scaring you a little bit. Came pretty close to the wall a few times. So to do this, all you need to do is fill out a waiver form and then supply an email address so they can give you information on up and coming tire sales and events and try to sell you tires in the future. But other than that, it was no cost to you, just an email address and a form to fill out. Get in a little line, and then you're going to be doing 2 laps on a pre-designed course that they have. This is just one of the drifting stations they had. They have one out front you could do also. They were putting on a big show out there, with Mustangs and Cobras and all kinds of different drifting cars and vehicles. They had a little off-road truck. If you look in the middle, there's a ramp there where they were jumping the truck. Then outside of the show is like a big car show, just as big as the car show that's going on the inside of the buildings. And some of the best cars you ever run across were outside the building. A lot of mall crawler pickup trucks. So inside the exhibit halls, there would be a booth, and usually inside the booth would be a car that's on display inside the booth. Like there's a Volkswagen here with the LS in the back seat. I'm not sure if this is a drivable car here because there was no firewall
protect the driver from any heat. This amazing Mercedes SL 300 here was over the top custom and one of the cleanest cars I've ever seen in my life. This car was super cool. They were doing a video shoot beside it here, so I couldn't get too close to it and check it out. So after the show had ended, I was allowed to come back inside the building and do some videoing, and I got some better shots of that SL. I'll have to post that up on my Instagram. And as you can tell as I'm walking through here how large the exhibit halls are and how crowded they are. There was people everywhere. I'm not sure exactly how many people attended SEMA. If you are one of those people that don't like to deal with crowds, this place had plenty of people there. There was probably 100,000 plus people at the show. So as the show comes to an end, they have a thing called SEMA Ignited. And what they do is they take all the cars that you saw in the exhibit halls and they parade them through a course. So they all come through and you get to see them, the owners driving them by, and you get to see you know, some celebrities that are inside these vehicles driving by, such as Jay Leno, and you'll see some of the celebrity builders like Chip Foose. There was a couple of the cars that I would swear that has never even been driven before, and sure enough, you'd see them out there driving. There was one car that was fully engraved from end to end, that was polished aluminum, and I didn't think the car was a drivable car, but sure enough, I saw it drive by and got to see it. One of the things they told us, the drivers and owners of the vehicles is on this course, is not to do burnouts in any way, shape, or form. And as you can imagine, a lot of these owners broke the rules and were laying down some serious burnouts. This guy in the off-road vehicle here got the crowd pumped, and he laid down a pretty good burnout. If you look inside the wheels at the brake rotors, you can see the rotor sparking off because he was power braking it. This vehicle wasn't designed for doing burnouts, and you can see how much power that truck had. It overcame the rear brakes no problem. This next little hot rod here had a pretty cool story behind it. The name of the vehicle was Lunch Money. The owner was paralyzed from the waist down, and he built this truck from scratch, and it was a pretty cool story, and I enjoyed talking to him and hearing about it, and then obviously seeing the truck drive by. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of freebies being tossed into the crowd. They had, you know, t-shirt cannons on some of these vehicles, and all these guys were throwing out t-shirts and stuff that had, you know, like their shop logos and stuff promoting them. And so it was cool to get some freebies. Some of the vehicles that were super popular at the show were the big lifted mall crawlers, they call them. Off-road vehicles, not really off-road vehicles. They're like show trucks. And they had hundreds of them here at the show. If you're into those, this is a place to be. I mean, they were beautiful trucks, like such as this blue one here. And then the one right behind it, he decides to do a burnout in his dually lifted truck here, and he has a stock drive shaft on it, and just twists the drive shaft like a candy cane. It falls out, kind of creates a roadblock for the show here. So the guy in the yellow vest talking to the owner of the truck is a YouTuber. His name is Brian from Brian's Mobile One. He jumped over the wall trying to help out. But they ended up towing the vehicle out here. The 57 Chevy that you see here was designed and built by Chip Foose. I believe he was in the passenger side of the vehicle. Some more of the entertainment was the Nitro Circus here. They put on a show. They're going to be performing in Vegas next year. And they kind of gave us a sneak preview of their show that's going to be performed at one of the casinos. So there was a concert thrown in the middle of this, and some more drifting that went on. And while that's all going on, inside the exhibit halls, there's an army of people breaking the show down and packing it up. By the time the Ignited show was over and we started walking back through the exhibits, 90% of the stuff was gone. It was impressive how fast they could pack this show up and clear it out. I mean, this is only maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours after the show officially ended and the Ignited show started.
So I hope you guys enjoyed my experience at SEMA, and I hope to see you guys there next year. Maybe we can do a little hangout. Thank you again for watching.